You are listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I'm going to empower you and teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality to reveal the steps you need to let go of your perceived limitations. Have you had the limiting self-talk over and over? Have you noticed you allow your fears to hold you back? If you're truly ready for change, I invite you to join me, Tracy L. Clark, and start your journey of transformation now. Welcome to this week's episode of the Tracy L. Clark Show. We are going to be talking about why you got to let go of the past and stop looking in the past and how it affects your body energetically. So stay tuned. You know, we're live. I don't know if you know this, but we are a live show. We are not a canned show and a pre-recorded show. So some things happen and we just got kicked off the air. That's why we're a little bit late. So let's hope, thank you, God, the God of my understanding, your understanding, that we can keep going today and not freeze. But it can happen. It's technology and we got a lot of energy running. I'm going to tell you guys some cool stories. But if you also want to call in today, you can, 1-800-930-2819. And we can have a conversation, shift what you'd like to shift. So don't worry, please know that that's there. So it's been a really exciting week when it comes to energy and shifts on the planet. And I was talking a little bit about last week and even on some of my social media, how some of the energies are getting a little bit more intense either way. So you can see people getting more frustrated, more angry. They're going that way. Or you see where we're really in this beautiful new energy of shifting. I call it heaven on earth or hell on earth. And I noticed for me, my energy's been growing so expansive so quickly that people are like, what is happening? But it's my physical body, but it's always that incorporation of the different energies that really work with us and how that works to help restore, repair, regenerate your life. And it's really time to take that into account. Sunny, there's some funny things that I want to share with you. And I don't know who picked it out. I got a few comments. They're like, Chase, why do you sit and do your show in a gaming chair? Why are you in a gaming chair? And it was so funny. So fun fact, I thought I'd answer it for you. Because gamers have fun and they sit in their chair all day long. And when you sit in your chair working with people, you need to be comfortable. Why is this relevant to today? Because I looked and I was buying an office chair and I'm sitting there going, these chairs are not comfortable. Who are the people that spend all the time in their chairs and love it? It's gamers. And I'm like, I'm buying a gaming chair. And even my daughter, she laughed. She's like, you have the most comfortable chair, but it's a gaming chair, Mom. It's not an office chair. And I said, why do people get so stuck in something that they require? And this is it. Most people say, I need an office chair. I wanted something comfortable. I'm sitting there looking outside the box because I'm not looking at programs and past. I'm like, what do I require? And so often when you're living in the past and you're dragging stuff, you just go, oh, well, I need an office chair because that's what everybody does. So it's following the crowd because that's what everybody does and doing things to let go of your past the way everybody else has done it and how it affects your body. So I wanted to really have people understand that you can't live in the past and you can't do things moving forward the way you used to all the time. And right, you hear me say this a lot. Other people say it. We got to really unlearn what we've learned. So I had to realize an office chair hurt my back, didn't make me feel comfortable working with clients all day and doing the radio show. So I got a gaming chair. So think outside of the box. What can you do? The other thing I really want to express in our show that I love so much is it's live. We follow the energy. We have our topic. And next week's topic, you got to stay tuned for next week, is all about empaths. And you know, we're all empaths. We all feel, but how many times, and I used to do this too, I can't go outside because I'm so tired and it hurts me and I pick up everybody's energy. And so I need to stay inside. So we're going to talk about how you can use that superpower. I was that person. That's why at 5, I had ulcers and diverticulitis and irritable bowel because I was an empath, didn't know what it was and didn't know how to use it. And I thought it was a detriment. So that's next week. So you want to stay tuned. Okay. I really want to get into though the past and what happens to it, how it affects your body, and what you can do to start to let it go. Quite often what happens is you got to look at your past like luggage, like literally like luggage. And if you tied all this luggage around your waist, okay, and I threw you into the ocean and I told you to swim, how could you swim? Probably not too well, right? But this is how the energy of the past, when we hold on to it, affects your body. It affects your central nervous system. It also affects the stress. It affects the clarity of your brain and how you're making decisions. So quite often what people will do is make decisions based on information that you've accumulated, right, from the past. And also a lot of people can have a very difficult time letting it go. The reason you can have a very difficult time letting it go, it's quite simple, but it's not as easy to execute. So I want to give you some tools that you can do to execute it today. A lot of times people have a hard time letting it go, and I did as well, because there's a fear of that disappointment. There's a fear if I disappoint maybe my family, my friends, or it starts to serve you in some way. And a lot of people will say, I got out of that marriage. It didn't serve me. Well, then why are you angry? Why are you still frustrated? Why are you holding on to fears around money? Why are you holding on to fears around not getting another relationship or feeling lonely? All of these aspects, if they're coming up in your life, are from experiences you've already had. Rather than looking at those experiences and saying, how can I make them better for me? Why am I holding on to this? Some people hold on to it out of anger and out of revenge. But what does that energy do? It actually will start to disconnect your heart drive. So I always call it your heart drive. It's your heart. That's the energy of creation. It starts to really accumulate in there. That's why heart attacks happen. It can sit in your pancreas. That's why people get illnesses in their pancreas, like diabetes, stuff like that, bitterness, it gets stuck in there. And a lot of times people will say, well, I'm not angry or I'm not bitter. But if you listen to the words that come out of your mouth and you listen to the words that come out of their mouth, you can really start to see where that past energy is really stuck. What it can do is those past hurts and pains can also start to move like they're like a loop. So it sits in your emotional camp. So you have different centers in your body, and your emotions are obviously a big part of it, right? And it sits in the emotional camp and it'll loop over and over and over. Then you'll find you're still frustrated. So one of the things that I always suggest is when we follow the energy, follow the reason why it's sitting there and how can we change it, is go back to the earliest memory you have. And we'll start to remove some of the manipulation energy out of this right now on the call. So just go back and listen and say, okay, why am I still angry at that? What was the frustration? Am I looking for validation? Am I looking to be seen? Am I looking to be accepted? Because here's the thing. Usually when the incident has gone by, a lot of the people will just move on. Like they just move on. And it doesn't mean they haven't cleaned out the energy. They'll just move on. They cut it off it goes. So if you're very aware, you'll start to see how it's affecting your body. And so it's more important that you start to let go of those past incidences and really release them so you can create better moving forward versus hanging on to it. Because it's that old saying, it only hurts you, right? That anger only hurts you. That lack of forgiveness only hurts you. So when you look at a past incident, you go, okay, I'm really angry. I'm angry that maybe, I'll take an example that I heard recently. Somebody was very angry at how their ex-husband was treating them and with child support. And I said, but go back, because it's really, that's the dynamic that's showing up. There's an underlying root of an emotion there that's being looped in the body. So basically it's, I don't feel respected. I don't feel validated. I don't feel heard. And I have fears now around my own money, right? So it's triggered fears around her own money. I hope you followed that. Fears around their own money. So by having her look at that situation, she can actually unplug from his actions, unplug from his projected energy. So what does that mean? Quite often when somebody's looking for something, or they want you to stay stuck in the past, or they don't want you to move forward, and you start to have these fears and you're scanning all the events saying, well, that didn't work, it failed, so I'm not going to do it again, or I'm not going to try a different way. It's other people's projected energy. So when you're constantly looking backwards rather than forwards, you're always pulling in the energy from that past, which can also, when you're living in the past all the time, can create depression in the body, because it really starts to accumulate in the nerve system, and it creates so much depression in the body because you're stuck looking backwards. When we look forwards, a lot of times what happens is people can get more anxious in the body because they can feel something's changing, but they can't maybe see it, right? So if that's you and you're going, oh, I have more anxiety around something, ask yourself, what is it that's changing that you're afraid of letting go from your past? Okay, just listen to that for a minute. So if you get anxious, what is it that you're holding on to in your past that you're afraid to let go of, that it's getting ready to really be birthed in your future? And I love this because when you start to look at it, you'll start to see the anxiety goes down, the depression goes down. And because what happens is when you get clarity, the chemical electrical frequencies of the brain start to fire better. Then your mood changes. Then that's where you find yourself going, oh, I do want to exercise, or I do want to go onto a walk. And you start to get more creative. And so all of this energy. So there are some things you can do, physiology of the body that you can do. So for people that can see me, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. For people that are listening, what you would do is you turn the palms of your hands up and you put them on your shoulders. It's one of our simple tools we use in Body Regen. And it's how I help to restore my own nerve system. If you know, I was born with a very damaged nerve system. So I used to shake like a Pez doll all the time. But you turn your hands to the ceiling. And I always say, thank you, God. It's the God of your understanding. And you lift your hands up off your shoulders and literally move the energy to the side of your body. So your hand movement goes up over your head and then it goes to the side of the body. You would be amazed at how much that will start to take the burdens and the responsibilities from past situations off your energetic body, because your body hears everything you're saying to it, whether it's in your mind and you're speaking it or it's out loud. And then the body starts to feel the actions, right? So the actions of the body start to signal, the more you do them, that, oh, he or she is not holding on to this. So you're letting it go and you're releasing it and you're moving it out. So this is so important. So really, if you scan, also here's another great way that you can let go of things in your past, is scan everything you can remember right now in your timeline. And this is an exercise I love to give people to use on a regular basis. If you scan everything in your timeline as early as you can remember, if there's an incident that still causes you emotion where you can't be neutral, if there's anything you're like, that makes me still angry or frustrated, not a good emotion. Don't worry about the good ones. You want those, right? But something that's not feeling good still, or you're hanging on to, then look at it and say, what is it that I'm looking for? And then truthfully, this word is very important, truthfully, will I ever receive that? If not, and you can't, I always say, thank you, God. I let that go with unconditional love and forgiveness. And then I do my one simple tool, which is thank you, God, reset, let go. If you've seen it on my YouTube or my website, you do it 3 times. Thank you, God, reset, let go. It's the God of your understanding. So that energy can start to actually move out of the body. Do the exercise again, and you'll start to see very quickly, because it works very fast, that the emotions of it won't be as charged. It'll come down and down and down. And all of a sudden, you will be actually now more in charge. So that's a great timeline exercise, because literally, if you could see how these experiences are holding you and hindering you from moving forward. And when I learned this, my whole life started to really change. Everything I talk about and everything I bring to you guys and channel, thank you, God, is because I've had to walk through it myself. There's a lot of things I've walked through, and that's why I can relate to so many of you, because when I never understood why I was put through so much pain for the first 32 years of my life. And now that I'm only 33, no, I'm just kidding. I have a birthday coming up. How can you tell? Now that I'm 33, no, that, it's one of these places where I started to unlock that. And as I learned what my body was telling me, and this is why I love to pass this information on to you guys and channel it through, and thank that hand of God for really shaking your systems energetically to give you the strength and the courage. So I'm speaking that into your body so you can just say, I want to take all of that. So you can stop living in what's behind you, stop looking behind you, and say, what am I creating today? Thank you, God. What is the new thing I'm going to bring in today? Thank you, God. And the other thing before we get to our first caller right away here is to understand that even though we look at things right now in your world, your natural world, and you go, but this is what it looks like. We really got to build that trust and understanding that it looks like that now, but it's changing. It's already done. It's coming in. The new is coming in. And if you look at the past, and this is a good exercise to look back quickly, things that you asked for happened, and they may not have happened in the way they happened. You didn't get here today by doing nothing. You got here today by taking another action step and following the energy and asking that hand of God for what you want and thanking that hand of God and trusting it's already done. That's what I do in my community, right? We build your trust, your connection, so you're empowered and you're in charge. All right, Jessica, I think, do we have Malin, you said, on the line?
Hi, Tracy. How are you today?
I'm fabulous. What's your question today? Let's shift some energy. And I should ask you, before you have your question, everybody tune into something you want to shift in your life. This is how it works. So as Malin's asking her question, I want you to really tune into what something you want shifted. Energy works really cool this way. Although I'm shifting for her, and you might see that question doesn't pertain to me. That's not how energy works. If you're tuned into the show, thank you, God, and you're listening as I'm shifting, you're going to get the shift too. Okay, Malin, what's your question?
Okay, so this came up after last week's manipulation clearing that you did. Anger towards somebody that we have, even though we try not to keep them in our life, but they are connected to us, and we do get triggered, and I know it affects my liver quite bad. And you know what? We're releasing it, letting it go, cleaning it up, and just saying, I'm done, and forgiving them for what they have done. So that's my other one question. And another thing that came up, the spiritual bullshit, it's really getting to me, where it's like I see it more and more. It's where some healers think it's like, okay, you know what, because my father passed, so now they're like, oh, you need a session because you need to cry. You haven't cried. I haven't seen you cry, so I need to do a session on you to crack you out. And I'm like, wow, that's a little bit interesting.
Okay, I love both of these. There's two things happening right now. Okay, so let's you crack me up. Okay, so if the anger keeps coming up, we want to look back into what the root of that is. So if it keeps coming up, there's still not that complete forgiveness and unconditional love. So there's still something, and for you, it looks like there's your kind of body is waiting for conversation of an apology in there, but you're not going to get it, and you know that, right? Yeah. Okay. So what we have to do is actually remove the accumulation of the manipulation energy of where other places in your lifetime you were waiting for apologies. Doesn't matter where the veil is and where that past experience is playing out in your life right now. So anywhere it's happened in any of your timeline where it's playing out right now. So let's start to remove that because it's not in your highest and best interest anymore. And then what we can do is override it to really impart and speak in real forgiveness with unconditional love, which will get you to neutrality. So no matter what they're doing, no matter if it's, they're in your face every day, you kind of become just very neutral. You're like, okay, well, that doesn't really need to affect me. So think about that person for a minute. Think about it. Thank you, God.
Yep.
Okay. How does that feel now when you tune into them? Does the energy of that anger feel less or the same?
Feels about the same. Like I feel dissipating, which is good. So
okay, so let's remove the perception and let's remove some of the accumulation of experiences out of the body and then out of the mental space. So we can start to remove that all the way down. Thank you, God. So we'll reverse that and I'll reset. How does that feel now? Truth.
It feels complete. Thank you.
Yeah, that's actually truth. So when you see them, remember to yourself, just go, yeah, that has nothing more to do with me. I've let that go. Thank you, God, I've let that go. Okay. By having that conversation, you'll start to see the energy will dissipate. Now, very interesting, this whole thing around grief and what people think you need or require. Funny, I'm taking a class on grief right now, and I was actually having a very hard time with it because there's all these people that have expectations and rules around grief and different religious backgrounds and what happens. And for me, because I've had 3 near-death experiences, I these rituals and the ways of people grieving are for people left behind, right? I'm like, I loved it over there. Like, I'm gone. Like, this is just a body. Like, I'm gone now, free, and didn't want to come back because it was so beautiful. And what people misunderstand, and I was seeing this in my class yesterday with a lot of people, the way they were talking, what people misunderstood is that we all grieve in different ways, but what it looks like the people you've come into contact with are making you feel wrong for the way you've chosen to grieve, because you've come through your process already. You were grieving long before the death happened. You were letting it go long before the death happened, right?
Yep. It was working with you and doing the 90 days that literally, it made it, you know what, grief is hard, but it made it where it wasn't as hard, and I understood it, and I forgave, and I loved. And I think that made it so much easier, those 90 days with you. So I have to say thank you to you, too.
Oh, well, you did the work. Those evolutionary programs we do are not easy, but it's like we say, when you move it, and this is what I love about you, and this is where, so don't listen. Say thank you for your information, but thank you, I'm going to let that go. Yeah. It doesn't mean that you might not have a cry in 6 months. Like, that can happen, but it'll happen when your body is. The thing is, I want to strengthen you in the power that no matter what people, there's so much misinformation, and it's like, well, you have to process it this way. And that's what I was struggling with on this call. I didn't say anything when I was sitting there in school yesterday. I'm like, actually, you don't. Like, I don't process grief that way. I see them when they leave. And, when my grandmother died, everybody was crying. I'm like, but she's right there. She's like happy. And I've been on the other side. It's great. Like, people couldn't understand how I couldn't go through that process. So there's a different level of awareness. So just remember, you're at a different level of awareness. And if there's a tear or a cry to come out, it'll come out when it's ready. How does that feel now when you look at the grieving process?
Oh, it feels complete. And I just needed you to say that. So thank you.
You needed some confirmation of how amazing you are and that you've already did the work. You did it long before. So everybody thinks when someone dies, you got to sit there and cry for the next year, which is not truth. And it's so interesting you brought this up today. My head's tingling because I was struggling. I said nothing on this call. I was like, I can tell you things about death that this has nothing to do with the actual spiritual growth and grieving. And it was a trigger. My boyfriend will tell you it was a trigger. He's like, what's wrong? I said, that call was just out to lunch, because when you see things very differently, you just start to understand a whole other level of grieving doesn't have to be. And that's that past, right? That's living in the past. That's looking in the past. Yeah. And you're not there. You're not looking in the past. You're looking forward. So take that. I love you for that so much. Thank you.
I love you too, Tracy. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. We have to take a quick break. We're going to get back. We have some more callers on the line. We have SJ from Toronto. So we're going to bring you on as soon as we get back after the break. But I want you to check us out at TracyLClark.com. We have a Soul Sunday service, which I run once a month. And it's this Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern time, online or in person, where we're going to shift and clear and really connect you to the God of your understanding. It's non-denominational, but to help you get prepared more and really ready for the week. And it's very interactive. So whether you're online or in person, we have another mic, or you can ask questions and we can continue to shift those for you, because it isn't a time for community, a time to make sure you're heard. And like Mylène, if there's misunderstandings, just because you don't follow the crowd and you're not grieving that way, it's not right or wrong. It'll come when it's ready. And this is what I really want all of you to understand. It comes when it's ready. And you're so amazing. And when we're connected and we're moving through our vessel and our understanding of life and our understanding of our God connection, things change miraculously. And they change fast. And that's why we see miracles every day. I see them in my community every day, and I want you to have them too. So we'll be back right after the break.
Tune in to Knowledge Book Radio with host Marge Potasic each Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Through many experiences, Marge was led to the Knowledge Book, a gift to humanity in its transition to the Golden Age, and it provided the truth and the answers. She now shares information from the Knowledge Book with you each week on TransformationTalkRadio.com. For more information, visit usa.theknowledgebook.net.
Hi, I'm Laura Meeks, and the most common problem that my clients face is all work and no play. This is why I created Fly High Living. I help you develop a balanced life plan and guide you to a place where you love to wake up in the morning.
Call 888-666-1570 or go to flyhighliving.com to sign up for the 4-week Flight Plan for Life course.
Are you done being afraid to jump into the life that's waiting for you? Are you ready for a real shift? I invite you to tune in every Tuesday with me, Tracy L., on the Tracy L. Clark Show, where we will teach you how to live your extraordinary life. At 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I will provide the tools and the steps needed to help you transcend perceived limitations and move forward with an extraordinary life. For more information, visit me at tracylclark.com.
The Coach Peggy Show, all things wellness with me, Coach Peggy Wilms. Tune in every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com, where I'm going to talk to you about all things wellness. We go way beyond nutrition and fitness, you guys. It's the Coach Peggy Show. We get bold, we get badass, and we never go half in. And for more information, you can visit me at allthingswellness.com.
Welcome back. We're live here as we are every Tuesday. Same place, same time, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, right here on Transformation Talk Radio, where we shift you, align you, uplift you, and really give you some practical tools that you can take out in the world. You know, there's nothing worse than if you're moving energy or you understand energy, you're working to connect to the God of your understanding, and then you leave and you're like, well, what do I do? So it's one of the things I love is I want you to be so empowered and you to be using the tools every day, different ways. And they take 1 second. And after a while, after usually 90 days, they're working on your body all the time. So it's fabulous. So welcome back. We're talking about today how letting go of things that you've been looking at in your past to open up into the future and into the now, and how it weights down your system. So quit looking behind you, guys. Don't look behind you. It's literally not an indication of what's coming. You get to create everything. And if you start to look at where you are today, you created it. So ask yourself, okay, I'm going to create something different. What is really ready? Because that past does not determine who you are. It doesn't determine how you're going to show up. It doesn't determine your superpowers, because half the time you probably haven't even locked into them yet. It doesn't determine anything moving forward, but you and your connection to the God of your understanding will determine what keeps shifting. It's all about the choice. All right. I think, Jessica, do we have SJ on the phone?
Hi, Tracy. The show is very befitting with what I'm going through right now. I'm struggling with anger and letting go with people, places, and things as it relates to work. I'm exhausted with the negativity in my work environment and how HR issues are being dealt with. My trust has been shaken. I'm looking for a public apology, and I know that's not going to happen. I want to move forward to forgive with unconditional love and become neutral so I can move forward and create a new opportunity for me. There is a job that is being posted that I'd like to apply for, and I'd like to have the energy to pursue further education and really focus on myself and developing my connection with the God consciousness, and to really hone that energy into better things than workplace drama and negativity.
Ah, you're so sweet. Yeah, so the workplace is literally, well, it depleted the space because, the anger, and then we have 90% of your work takes up your energy. Do you realize it's that high?
Yes, I know. That's why I called in, and I can't believe I got it. I was like, thank you, God.
Yes, exactly.
I have to play the lotto today.
Okay, so this is awesome. So actually what I want you to do is focus on those people at the work. You're correct. You're not going to get the apology. The whole actually facility is, unfortunately, it reads more, as you know, there's 75% more toxic, but for the listeners, than it is actually supportive, which is not in anybody's best interest. There is, as you said, so there's an energy that's playing out in your life right now, which comes from other past experiences, this lifetime and other lifetimes. I'd like to start to cut that manipulation energy off. And what it is basically energies where you've been in other situations where you've been ganged up on, where you've been bullied, where you've been mistreated. And it also, there's about 4 or 5 other lines that hasn't shown in your field before around this experience, and it is playing out right now. So let's start to disconnect that first, if you're okay. So what happens with past life energies, guys, it's not karma, so to speak. What it is the veil right now is very thin. So as the veil is becoming very thin, your loved ones will be trying to get more of your attention. I know my boyfriend last night was like, "Oh my God, who was talking? Was that you in the night?" I'm like, "No, that wasn't you. That was your loved ones. Like, let me sleep," But what's happening is they're saying, "Wake up, wake up." And so the veil's thin right now. So a lot of energies that we've experienced before are showing up in our life right now to clean them out very quickly. And because this has been going on for such a long time, the body, they're trying to wear you down because that's what happened before. And you can actually see that past life is playing out. So if you're okay, I'm just going to remove the accumulation. Everybody would want to listen to this one. Anything you have playing out in your life right now that is not in your highest and best interest, I'm going to thank that hand of God of removing all of that energy, manipulation energy. It'll come from also what we call curses, witchcraft, spells, black magic, ancient rituals. Don't worry about the words. They sound a little heavier than they are. But we'll start to remove manipulation and where that manipulation energy falls inside of you and outside. And we'll start to pull that off. And everywhere also playing out right now is not in the highest and best interest beyond just the bullying, but so what's happened before, and you probably feel this, and the reason you're there still is some of these people from these other energies have pushed you out of places before. And they do this to other people. You're not the first person to have this, FYI. When this collection of energies gets together, you can see they've got this real pack mentality. It's not healthy. Yeah. And I'm going to remove where you're like, did I do anything wrong? You're still kind of questioning yourself. So we'll remove that. You didn't. I can actually see the energy. You've come from the right place. If there wasn't, I would tell you. So this is really good. So well done. And we're going to increase. I'm just going to start to vibrate the adrenals and the kidneys. So they hold a lot of this energy in place. So let's start to move them so the manipulation energies can start to pull off. You might feel a little pull in your head because that seems to be where some of these are sitting. So I can feel a little.
Well, I'm feeling it in my left arm. And actually, last week, Thursday, a colleague of mine had to take me to a walking clinic because I was having sensations in my left arm, and she was worried about high blood pressure in my heart. Yeah. So thank you, God, that that was good. But I'm feeling it in my left arm for sure. And I'm trying to focus, but as more I think about it, I still, I know it's doing more damage to me, and I think I'm at a tipping point, to be quite honest.
You are. And so we want to move this out of the space, and then just look at those people for a minute, and we're just going to bring that level of anger down, because actually the truth is you actually know the truth, which is that this is who they are. It's not for you. Okay, now it's going into the heart, because then it's like, well, why would they do this? I get bullying very well. I used to be on the same side as you, so let's pull this out. And I'm going to actually restructure the high heart and the low heart, because that's where those things that are playing in your life right now with these people that we can start to remove and pull down. What we want to do is override for truth. And unfortunately, I please, people don't take this the wrong way, but I have been saying for 15 years, we've created this HR structure, but I know very few HR departments, even when I was in corporate, that actually handle their people properly. So if you are in HR, then it's time to step up and change the way that happens. So let's restructure that. Thank you, God. How does that feel in your chest now? Does that feel a little bit lighter?
It's a little bit lighter, yes.
Good. Okay, look at those people now. It was kind of sitting at a 10, the anger. Where would you put that anger now?
Truthfully, I would say an 8.
Yep. Yeah, no, it's moving. It's moving. So what I'm going to do, I like that. It was a 10, but now we're good. We're good. No, this is good. We got movement. Okay, so we're going to open you up for some new options as well and possibilities, because this is the number one thing that's affecting the spine and the nerve system. We're going to pull that out. So as I'm going to actually run a program for you for about 12 hours, and we're going to
thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, to move this off. You could feel a little dizzy, and it can feel as the manipulation energy is coming out. You can get a little bit more anger. It can go up, and you can get anger in your dreams because it's got to release out of the system, right? So do not, if you can, in the next 12 hours, actually they say to run it till at least 10 a.m. tomorrow. So that's a little bit more than 12 hours. So 13, it might go a little bit longer than that, but if you can just sort of cocoon yourself a little bit, and say, and one of the things I would have you say is, thank you, God, show the truth around this situation. Thank you, God, show the truth around this situation. Thank you, God, expose the truth around this situation. If that's all you repeat right now, just repeat that for the next 24 hours and then let me know how you're feeling, okay?
Okay, thank you so much, Tracy.
You're welcome. So much love. This is moving. Very proud of you. Very proud of you. Okay, I think, Jessica, we have Madura on the line.
How are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you today?
I am good. Leaving the past behind, I wanted to let you know there was one of the videos that you did, and it literally looked like a part of me was coming off. Like it was just shedding, and it just kind of dissipated into the air, which was really neat. So I wanted to thank you for that.
Was that a Miraculous Academy video, or was that just a
Yes, I can't remember. It was Letting Go of the Past. I think that was the Miraculous, one of the videos you created. Okay. So that was really neat.
Thank you.
I had a quick question. So I'm finding with my workouts, I'm able to shed all the weight kind of on my legs, but there's still stuff. I feel like I'm still bloating around the stomach area, and I'm wondering if there's something that's kind of just not wanting to let go.
It actually looks like you're getting you're doing amazing, by the way, like amazing. And so we got to look at actually really celebrating more where it did leave off the body. It looks like you have an insulin readjustment just happening. So we can actually remove, hang on, where you hold in. Okay, so most of your stress is usually held in your stomach. So let's remove that pattern, so the bloating can come down. I'm going to actually do a reset too, thank you, God, in the immune system. Basically, we'll go all through your whole sphere, and where anything's playing out not in your highest and best interest right now, but where your immune system had been compromised in this lifetime or any other lifetime. Thank you, God. So I'll start to remove all of that. Well, God will. Thank you, God, the God of your understanding. Let's pull that through, and then how does that feel now when you actually look? We can start to actually pull the stomach back. It looks like that's the next area. Like as the body's recalibrating, the insulin's resetting, the immune system's resetting, and the body's loving all this new exercise you have. That's that motivation that comes in, right? When you're moving forward and you're ready to birth new. I'm so proud of you. How does that feel now when you tune into your stomach?
It's feeling better, because I was just feeling like there's something that's just stuck. And I'm like, okay, I can see the changes, and I'm super excited. It just feels like there's something that was still kind of like, no, I'm not wanting to let go of you yet.
Yeah, that was sort of how the body was having this old loopy program around the immunity system. But your insulin, like you can see those levels energetically are readjusting. Thank you, God. Which then, because of the way you've introduced new exercise, right? So the body naturally will do that. But energetically, that's what it purges. It purges anything that was in the stress camp that you're not going to process that way anymore. So basically, how you would process stress will become a lot easier. It's before, when you would process stress, and you probably know this about yourself, it was almost like you could feel that heightened like anxiousness behind there, right?
Yes.
Behind the body.
Yeah.
You've probably noticed now your body is just sort of seeing things, and that anxiousness is really quite low. It's riding quite low now. Have you realized that in your body? Can you?
Yes, it's been really nice. Like situations aren't worrying me as much. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be fine. I'm like, it's such a calmer. I'm much calmer. Thanks to you, because I probably wouldn't be if it wasn't for you. So thank you for that. But it's a lot of calm, much calmer energy when it comes to that. I think there's still some with my son who triggers me a lot, but I'm working on that.
But that's processing through. And what I like is, so when the energy changes like this, the physical body will start to change too, right? That's why your immunity system, we can clean up and change and keep it stronger. And that's also why you can see the insulin levels changing. And so a lot of times also, so your liver, the pancreas, all of that's changing. And then as we were just doing with the last color with the vibrating the adrenals and the kidneys, they start to come in that life force energy. So then the stomach the bloating should start to go down now that manipulation's moving, and we can actually speed up the apostat. Thank you. We can speed up also the metabolism a little bit more. And you might even find you're working out a little bit longer now than you normally would, because you're just enjoying it so much. Like it actually.
Oh yeah, I'm finding I'm able to do like 5 days in a row, not taking as many in between breaks, which is awesome, and I love it.
Yeah.
But
so just keep following your body now, because it's literally, you're going to feel it probably in the next 7 to 10 days. It's going to do another jump, and then let me know how you're doing. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy.
Thank you. All right, Jessica, I think we have Sheila on the line from Toronto. We have our last caller. So anybody else, make sure you call in next week.
Awesome. Hi, Tracy.
Hi, Sheila.
Birthday.
Hello. I know. What's your question?
It's coming.
I'm pretending it's not coming. So
don't be in denial. Birthdays are good for your health. The more you have, the older you get. There you go.
Actually, I do love them. I know. I do love them. I do celebrate mine for a month, so I can't complain.
Perfect.
Yeah. What's your question?
My question is just, so I always knew that I disliked and I was frustrated by the way that my ex spoke to me. But I don't think I realized until today's show that I was probably actually holding on to anger about the money that I lost during the whole divorce process. I really thought that I had just kind of accepted it and moved on and decided just to rebuild my life from scratch. But I actually realized today in listening to you talking that I am probably holding on to some anger about that, and that it's probably, playing out in my life today.
It is.
And if there's anything we can do to clear that.
Yeah, we can. Really good at this one. And I'll tell you quickly why, for the listeners, why I can move a whole bunch really fast for you. And I'm so proud of you for recognizing that, because when I walked out on my marriage and left the money and took the kids, it was a huge amount of money. I sold a business to a publicly traded company, so it was a large amount of money. And I was like, oh, it's fine. And then I realized, like you, oh, man, I did have all this anger because I had to struggle again. And I'm looking at my last $1,000 in the bank. I'm like, what was I doing? Like, how stupid was I? But I had all this programming, right? So we are angry at ourselves, and then we get angry at the situation. So you still have a little bit of both going on there. And so what I want to do is I'm going to remove we're going to remove past situations that are playing out in your life now. So that would be the ex-husband, but also anywhere else in your timeline. And it's not in your highest and best interest. So we're just going to actually start to remove all of that through, if you're okay with that. It's coming out of, for you, right in the center of your heart. So, there's the heart, and then there's the heart chakra, which is right in the center. So it's actually clearing out of the heart chakra, which that's been planting seeds to create a little bit more lack in your world, rather than what is massive prosperity, because you have a huge prosperity line. So let me start to pull all of that manipulation out, and anywhere there's been, for you, it's coming up ancient rituals more than it is anything else. So when it comes up ancient rituals, those are energies that play out usually throughout generations, throughout family crossover, like where we marry people and we have crossover information. And there's also energy that's tied to that, to his family. So that is actually new for you. So let's pull all of that out, because you're actually ready to let go of that anger for good. No matter what he throws at you, we got to get it nice and calm. So just think about the situation for a minute and all that accumulation of energy from the roots. Oh, we'll burp that one out. Thank you. Oh, okay. You're definitely ready to let that go, which was also consuming too much of your energy. So this whole situation was allowing him to actually take about 80% of your energy, believe it or not. So we're going to cut that off so you can actually create. Yeah, and be very focused. Hang on. For people listening, I do burp when I clear a lot of times, and sometimes it's just a little bit more. So, Sheila, you're getting all the burping. Okay.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Okay. So think about him, think about the anger, and think about the money. I'm going to put this in a triad, and I'm going to pull everything, all the accumulation, not in your highest and best interest, just out for a minute. Your heart might speed up just a little bit. I'm just going to actually ask every imprint and implant, known and unknown, from the roots and the seeds. Thank you, God, where it was. We're going to move all of that accumulation of manipulation energy out. We're going to override it with the prosperity and the knowing that that's his to deal with, but not yours. So you're ready to let that go. And you truthfully are. Like, you can see, you're literally at the end. You're like, oh, I have that anger. So I'm also going to override it with real, not only speaking in the new prosperity levels, but speaking in forgiveness for yourself. Because now when I move him out, there's we have to forgive yourself, because you can see there's a lot of, oh my gosh, if I had done this or done that, and that was holding in the anger. So all of that ping-ponging energy, I call it, we're going to remove as well. Okay, so hang on.
Yeah, I can feel that in my stomach. Like it's almost like I can't even explain it, but it's not really my solar plexus. It's not really my stomach, but there is definitely like a fear or a burn or something.
Yeah, it's burning off. And you can feel it there, because the manipulation energies a lot of times will sit in the stomach, even though we can feel it in different places that we have to open up in the body. So you can feel the pulling and the tugging in lots of different places as the manipulation energies come. And you know what I would actually do around this one of the things I would say when you're dealing with him is not only show the truth, God, about what's going on here, but I'm not accepting, thank you, God, I refuse to accept all accumulation of manipulation energies. I'm rejecting all the manipulation energies that are not in my highest and best good, that are not in my highest and best interest, not in my highest and best self, whatever works for you, but just make sure you're very clear to remove the accumulation of all the manipulation energies, because they come from many places. And, you could hear somebody else's story going through the same thing, and all of a sudden it could bring up something. So we want to make sure you're nice and clean and like, yeah, whatever, been there, done it, I'm over it. It's over, right? So we'll move the rest.
Right.
How does that feel now when you tune into him and that situation?
So much better. Yeah, I've still got a little bit in my solar plexus, but that might be what my own anger towards myself, or my own lack of forgiveness for having, getting into this.
Yes. So the thing I would do for that one that's really works well is just repeat, like I ground myself into the earth. Thank you, God. Like I would do that, 3 times. Then maybe, say that I am of God 3 times, because it really invokes the Christ consciousness energy, which is huge on the planet right now, of love. So it'll bring a lot of love to self, feel it. And then I would just say, I totally forgive myself with unconditional love, and I let this go, and say it 3 times. Then I would do that pattern. Guys, this is a really strong one. You can feel it in the body, and you can get a little dizzy when you do it. But I would do that same, probably about, it's showing for you up to 6 times a day. So if you're just walking, you can say it, and it's really going to start to feel, you can feel where the body is just releasing. You might get some tears, but it's like you can see this whole new imprinting of just unconditional love for yourself. And this unconditional love for self is really the lead of this total forgiveness. And so we know we have a slight disconnect with the God consciousness and the love of ourselves when we allow these people. But it doesn't mean we don't feel the anger. You're just at the end of it, so you're ready to let it go.
Perfect. Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank
Great
you.
show.
Thank you for being brave. Lots of love. You know what, guys? I love her laugh. She's so cute. This is what it's about. It's like, where are you looking, and where? Your past does not determine your future. Your past does not tell you where you're going. It was just an experience of things you came into. And where are you holding on to it, and why are you holding on to it? It's not serving you anymore. Those people that are gone, they don't really care anymore. Those experiences molded you into more of the superpowers that you have. And that's why I say these superhuman experiences with Body Regen is because we have so much to share. And in the world right now, where we were saying last week with more chaos and more craziness going on, it is a choice of heaven on earth or hell on earth. And understanding that the more we look, and people say, well, that's nonsense, there's so much out there. And there is. And a lot of it is just noise. I'll tell you, the biggest breakthroughs I had is when I really learned to connect to the God of my understanding. I was able to understand what my body was saying. And I was really able to tune out the noise of the world. There's always noise of the world. Don't turn on the news. There's going to be noise everywhere. And do we have to walk through it together? Yes, now more than ever. Like I said, the last 50 years is going to seem like a cakewalk, I guess, compared to what we're going to be going through this year. But it's really moving to a better place. But the more connected you are, the more miracles you will see. And this is what I do every day in our community. And if you haven't checked out our community, just go to TracyLClark.com. Like I said, we have Soul Sundays once a month. It's donation only. It goes to our outreach fund to help people in need. There's more of that that's unfolding. We have a committee over there that actually takes care of it. and we clear, we shift, we're interactive because we need each other more than ever. Our communities have gotten different. Yes, they're online, but without community, you can't hide in your house and just talk to yourself all day. That won't move you forward. But to have people who love you, support you, I realized that's what I didn't have when I went through my journey. And I vowed to God that if this was a place that showed up in my life ever, that I would create a community. And that's why I created it the way I have, because it's really hard to do this alone. I did it alone with one other person, because you can imagine 17 years ago, when I started my journey, there wasn't what we have now today. There was nothing. We barely had internet the way we do now. And so we get to take advantage of it. So remember how amazing you are. Everything is a choice. Don't look behind you, because those are like suitcases you don't want to lug around anymore. Expand your awareness, expand into who you are, and trust that the God of your understanding is really opening doors for you. So the past doesn't define where you're going. Have an incredible week, everyone. I'm going to see you right here, same time, 11 a.m., where we're going to really talk about your superpowers, empaths, intuition, gifts, and how you can use them. Because a lot of people are having them work against you, but how you can use them to make them work for you. Because I had to learn this the hard way. Have a great week, everyone. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening to the Tracy L. Clark Show with me, Tracy L., where I teach you how to live your extraordinary life. Tune in every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio, where I combine ministry, science, and spirituality, revealing the steps you need to transcend perceived limitations. As a remarkable leader and pioneer in my field, I, Tracy L., will provide insights energetically and the tools required to move you forward. For more information on my partnership program, check us out at tracylclark.com.